Welcome, everybody, to our deep dive into the world of best-selling books.
Oh, bestsellers.
And I think people might assume they already know
Right.
the big names, the famous books, but
Yeah.
we're going to uncover some real surprises today.
Absolutely.
So we'll be looking at individual books, we'll be looking at series
Mm.
across languages, time periods, and we're ranking them by their estimated sales.
And you know what's so fascinating about these sales figures is that they offer
Yeah.
a window into, well, much more than just
Yeah.
purchasing habits, right?
Yeah.
We can glean insights into cultural trends, shifting tastes,
Yeah.
and those stories that have truly resonated across generations, those that just
Oh, absolutely. And I think
capture the imagination.
before we dive in, we've got to acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Okay.
We're going to be setting aside religious texts for this deep dive.
That's right. And that's because religious texts they have very unique distribution models. And to compare them directly to commercially sold books
Right.
wouldn't provide the most accurate picture, I think.
I think that's very fair
Yeah.
because if we're talking about the Bible,
Right.
the Bible is estimated to have sold over 5 billion copies.
That's right. I mean, that's more than any other commercially sold book
Yeah,
by a landslide.
sure.
We also have to consider other texts like the Quran, which has an estimated 800 million,
Yeah.
the Book of Mormon with 200 million,
Wow.
and Ice Khan's distribution of the Bhagavad Gita, which has reached over
Oh, sure.
503 million copies since 1965.
And I think a good example of kind of why we're doing this is like quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong,
Right.
which some estimates are as high as 6.5 billion copies.
The Little Red Book.
The Little Red Book, yeah.
So it just highlights how certain texts,
Yeah.
whether they're religious or political or ideological,
Right.
they really reach this widespread distribution outside of what we traditionally think of as a sales model.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll be focusing on the commercially sold books for this deep dive.
That's right.
So, I mean, even without those
Yes.
religious and ideological texts, the numbers are still pretty staggering.
Oh, absolutely.
And one thing I learned while we were preparing for this is that getting accurate figures is really tricky,
It is.
especially for the books that were published before the 1990s.
It really is. And, a lot of that comes down to the fact that before we had standardized sales tracking, estimates often relied on, figures provided by publishers
Right.
or the authors themselves.
Right.
And those could vary greatly. Take, for example, The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, interesting.
So one specific edition has a UK sales record of under 1 million copies.
Okay.
But the Tolkien estate claims global sales exceeding 150 million.
So that's a big difference.
A big difference.
Yeah.
It really highlights the challenges of compiling these definitive lists.
Yeah. So speaking of a challenge, how about we tackle the undisputed champion of book series,
All right.
Harry Potter?
Of course.
We all know it.
We do. Yeah.
Over 600 million copies sold worldwide.
A true publishing phenomenon.
I mean, and just to kind of add to this, the series is available in 85 languages,
Wow.
which makes it one of the most translated literary works ever.
That's fascinating.
Right, and that says something
Yeah.
not just about the storytelling, but
Yeah.
narratives that can just transcend cultural boundaries.
Oh, for sure. And the sales figures. I mean, the sales figures really do back that up.
They do.
The last 4 books
Yeah.
each set records for the fastest selling book ever.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible.
And I think a lot of people remember when Deathly Hallows came out.
Yeah.
15 million copies
It's just,
in the first 24 hours.
it's just mind-boggling.
It's insane.
It also holds the record for the largest initial print run for any book,
Wow.
with 12 million copies. What? In the U.S. alone.
So we have Harry Potter as the series king.
Yes.
But what about for individual books?
Okay.
Let's start with the 100 million plus club.
All right.
And one that a lot of people are probably familiar with is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens.
A classic.
Yeah.
And it's one that I think continues to resonate today, perhaps because of its timeless exploration
Yeah.
of, themes like sacrifice and revolution and social injustice,
And
right?
These are things that we continue to grapple with.
It's interesting, these books that kind of
geez.
become cultural touchstones.
Right.
And another one, The Little Prince.
Oh, The Little Prince. That one always brings back fond memories.
Yeah, it really
It's a
does.
timeless tale, I think,
Yeah.
appealing to both children and adults with its simple yet profound messages about love, friendship, and the importance of imagination. And I think
its global popularity really speaks volumes about those universal themes. It resonates with readers regardless of their background.
it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving down the list, we have Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. And this one, published relatively recently in 1988.
Oh, wow.
But it really taps into, I think, that yearning, that universal yearning for self-discovery and the courage to pursue one's dreams. And I think its success might be attributed to its accessibility.
Right.
The very simple language.
Yeah.
And its focus on spiritual themes that resonate in our modern world.
And we can't forget Agatha Christie.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
The queen of mystery.
Yeah.
And then there were none. Over 100 million copies sold.
And I wonder if it has to do with, I don't know, I feel like people are fascinated with
that whodunit genre.
that genre.
Absolutely. And Christie, well, she just had this knack, this ability to craft these intricate plots, compelling characters, and expertly crafted suspense that just keeps readers guessing until the very end.
Yeah.
And then there were none in particular with that isolated setting and that escalating tension.
Yeah.
Masterclass in suspense storytelling.
For sure. And then, of course, we have to include the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
That's right.
Over 120 million copies sold.
It seems those magical worlds never go out of style.
They don't. I mean, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone brilliantly blends elements of fantasy, coming-of-age themes, and that classic good versus evil trope. Yeah. So it really is something for all ages. And before we move on from this tier, we also have to acknowledge J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit.
Another literary giant. Over 100 million copies sold.
So it's clear that Tolkien's fantasy world still enthralls readers today.
Well, it does. And what's fascinating is that The Hobbit, published back in 1937.
Wow.
Really laid the groundwork for The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Demonstrating how a seemingly simple children's story can evolve into a complex and enduring epic.
It's just crazy. These books become part of...
They do. It's become part of our
collective consciousness.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's step down a little bit to the 50 to 100 million range.
Okay.
And starting with another classic, C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, another beloved children's fantasy. With its allegorical themes of faith, redemption, and the classic battle between good and evil, it just continues to resonate with readers generations later.
It does. And then, of course, we have Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, which sparked a lot of conversation.
It did.
About history, religion, conspiracy theories. It did. The Da Vinci Code, I think, is a prime example of how a book can really tap into those cultural anxieties and fascinations. And, it really ignited debate.
Yeah, for sure.
Discussion. It blended history, art, religious symbolism in a way that just captivated a wide audience.
Yeah, for sure.
And even if it generated controversy.
Okay, here's a book that I always think about, how it kind of plays into the complexities of adolescence, The Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, published in 1951.
Yeah.
The Catcher in the Rye remains, I think, a controversial yet enduring coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
I mean, its portrayal of teenage angst and alienation and rebellion continues to resonate with readers.
Yeah.
Even if some of those themes and language are considered a bit dated now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a reminder that some books, they spark these conversations that continue to evolve over time.
Okay, speaking of books from another era, what about She, A History of Adventure?
She, A History of Adventure. It's not a title you hear mentioned very often these days.
No.
But it's really a fascinating example of how tastes and trends change.
Right.
Published back in 1887.
Wow.
She was a massive bestseller. I mean, captivating Victorian readers with its adventure and exoticism and its exploration of gender roles. And while its popularity has waned, it remains a significant work of its time, providing insight into, I think, the literary and social landscape of the late 19th century.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule.
It really is.
And before we move on, I'm kind of curious because we've seen a lot of children's and young adult fiction on the list so far.
We have.
I'm wondering if you think that that genre has an advantage.
That's a very perceptive observation.
Thank you. Does it have an advantage when it comes to...
I think there are a few reasons why it might.
Yeah.
Why children's and young adult fiction might have an edge.
Yeah.
First, they often tap into universal themes and emotions that resonate with readers of all ages.
Of all ages.
Think about the power of friendship in Harry Potter, or the allure of adventure in The Hobbit.
And they never really go out of style.
They don't.
Right.
They don't. Second, these genres tend to be a bit more accessible, right? Yeah. Simpler language storylines that appeal to a wider audience.
Right.
And third, they benefit from nostalgic rereading.
Oh, yeah.
So people who loved these books as children may revisit them as adults, maybe sharing them with their own children.
Right.
Creating this cycle of readership that spans generations.
I'm guilty of that for sure.
As am I.
Okay, I'm ready for more. What other literary giants are waiting for us?
Well, let's see. In the 20 to 50 million range, we've got a mix of thought-provoking novels and beloved children's classics.
Okay.
Like Richard Bach's Jonathan Livingston Seagull. That's a great example of a book that really captured a particular cultural moment.
It did. Jonathan Livingston Seagull was everywhere in the 70s.
It was.
I remember seeing posters with quotes from it.
With quotes.
On it, yeah.
Yeah, its message of self-discovery and pushing boundaries resonated, I think, really deeply with the generation that was seeking personal growth and spiritual enlightenment. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have Eric Carle's The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, yeah.
A timeless classic that continues to delight young children with its simple story and vibrant illustrations.
It's amazing how a book about a caterpillar's appetite can become a global phenomenon.
It really is. And The Very Hungry Caterpillar isn't just about food. It subtly introduces concepts like counting and days of the week.
Oh, that's true.
The life cycle of a butterfly.
Yeah.
So it's a brilliant example of how children's books can be both entertaining and educational.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of education, Sophie's World by Joe Steengarter.
Oh, yes.
Presented kind of a history of philosophy, but in the form of a novel.
It did, and I think Sophie's World really, it sparked an interest in philosophy for many young readers.
Yeah.
It's a testament to how creative storytelling can make even complex subjects really engaging and accessible.
For sure. And we can't forget The Thornbirds by Colleen McCullough.
A sprawling family saga.
It was huge.
That captivated readers worldwide.
What do you think contributed to its success?
Well, I think the Thornbirds really tapped into that universal fascination with love and loss, family secrets, set against that backdrop of the Australian outback.
Right.
You know, it offered this compelling blend of romance and drama, historical setting, appealing to a wide audience.
It seems like, I don't know, books that transport readers to different worlds, different times, maybe have a greater chance.
That's an astute observation.
Thank you.
I think escapism is certainly a powerful draw for readers. And we see that again with Wolf Totem by Jiang Rong.
Oh, interesting.
Another book that transports readers to another time and place, in this case, China's Cultural Revolution.
And it's fascinating how that book achieved both critical and commercial success.
It did.
Even though it was dealing with...
even though it was dealing with those...
sensitive...
political and social issues.
Social issues,
And I think its semi-autobiographical nature really added a layer of authenticity to the story. You know, it drew readers into the protagonist's experiences during that really turbulent period in Chinese history. Yeah. And, you know, it sparked some really important conversations about environmentalism. Right. The relationship between humans and nature. Yeah. It's a testament really to the power of storytelling.
It is.
You know, it can transport us to different worlds and reduce us to new perspectives. Right. Challenge our assumptions.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's move on to the 10 to 20 million tier, where we've got, again, a very eclectic mix. Delia Owens, where the Crawdads Sing. This was a recent phenomenon.
It was, yes. It was.
Everyone seemed to be reading this book.
Recent example of a book that became a real cultural phenomenon.
It did.
And I think it really cleverly blends elements of mystery and coming of age. Nature writing, appealing to a wide audience, and its portrayal of a young girls' resilience and connection to the natural world really resonated deeply.
It did.
With readers.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, we have to include Roald Dahl's Matilda,
Matilda,
a timeless classic.
It is. It's a brilliant example of how children's literature can really tackle those complex themes in an engaging and entertaining way.
Right.
You know, Dahl's quirky characters and witty language, imaginative storylines continue to captivate young readers.
And then we have Marcus Zusak's The Book Thief.
Oh, The Book Thief, a powerful and emotionally resonant story set in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, a tough one.
It is, but it's a beautifully written and deeply moving story, exploring themes of loss and resilience and the power of words in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and humanity can prevail.
Yeah, it's one that sticks with you.
It is.
What other notable titles do we find in this range?
Well, in this range, we also have Nicholas Evans' The Horse Whisperer, which captivated readers with its really heartfelt story of healing and connection, both between humans and animals and within families. Right. And then we have Michael Ende's The Never-Ending Story.
Oh, I love that one.
Which transported readers to that world of fantasy and imagination, reminding us of the power of stories to shape our realities.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how this tier of bestsellers really showcases such a diverse range of stories. You know, we've got everything from historical fiction to, heartwarming children's tales,
Right.
It shows that...
It really does. It shows that there's
something for everyone.
There's something out there for everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a change of pace.
Okay.
Let's explore these books that are regularly updated, starting with the undisputed champion of this category, the Chinese dictionary Xinhua Zidian.
Oh, prepare to be amazed, because Xinhua Zidian has sold a staggering 567 million copies.
It's 567 million copies of a dictionary.
I know, it's almost impossible to fathom.
Yeah.
But it really speaks to the importance of language and literacy in Chinese culture and the dictionary's role as just this vital tool for education and communication. Yeah. It's a reminder that some of the most essential books aren't necessarily the most glamorous.
Right, for sure. And speaking of essential, next up is Robert Baden-Powell's Scouting for Boys.
Oh, yes. A guide that has sold between 100 and 150 million copies.
Wow. And this has been around since 1908.
That's right.
I mean, my grandfather used to tell me stories about using this book.
It's incredible. And Scouting for Boys is more than just, a guide to outdoor skills.
Right.
It really promotes values of self-reliance, leadership, community service. And these have resonated with generations of young people.
It's a classic.
It's a testament to that enduring appeal of scouting and its emphasis on personal growth and character development.
And then you have the Guinness World Records.
Oh, of course, the Guinness World Records. It sells millions of copies every year.
It's just, I think we all have that fascination.
We do.
With the extraordinary.
We do. The Guinness World Records really taps into, I think, our curiosity. About the limits of human potential. Yeah. And it celebrates the achievements of individuals who push boundaries and defy expectations.
For sure. And along with our fascination with the extraordinary, I think we also have kind of a deep-seated need for reliable information in a world that's constantly changing.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think the World Almanac comes in.
World Almanac. And let's not forget.
Oh, yeah, of course.
The Betty Crocker Cookbook.
Yeah, those are huge.
The World Almanac, with 82 million copies sold. The Betty Crocker Cookbook with a remarkable 75 million copies since its first edition in 1950.
And those are big numbers.
They are.
Yeah.
And they reflect, I think, our need for those trusted sources of information, whether it's about current events, historical facts, or tried and true recipes.
Right.
These books offer a sense of stability, guidance in a world that can often feel
overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sensing a theme here.
Okay.
With these regularly updated books. I feel like they often reflect a society's values and priorities.
You're spot on. Take, for instance, the McGuffey readers.
Oh, interesting.
So these were textbooks that were widely used in American schools from the mid-19th to the early 20th centuries.
Wow.
And they sold over 125 million copies.
I've heard of them, but I'm not really familiar with them.
So the McGuffey readers went beyond those basic literacy skills.
Okay.
They emphasized moral instruction and character development, reflecting the values of hard work, honesty, respect, that were highly prized in that era.
It's fascinating how they're like a little...
They're like a little window to the past.
To the past, for sure. Okay.
And it's not just about education.
Yeah.
Consider Tongxing, a Chinese almanac that's been published annually since 1891.
Oh, wow.
The version published by Choi Park Lai's family has sold over 70 million copies.
Wow.
It's incredible.
What makes the Chinese almanac so popular?
Well, it's much more than just a calendar.
Okay.
Tongxing provides a wealth of information about Chinese astrology.
Oh, wow.
Fortune-telling, traditional customs. It reflects, I think, a deep connection to cultural heritage.
Yeah.
And a belief in that interconnectedness.
Yeah.
Of time and fate and human destiny.
It's a whole different worldview.
It is.
Okay, so I have to ask, because I'm a word nerd.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about the sources?
Of course we have to talk about the sources.
Okay.
I mean, Peter Mark Roget's Thesaurus has sold over 40 million copies.
Wow.
Since its first publication in 1852.
A classic.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's become an invaluable tool for writers, for students, anyone who loves to play with language.
Absolutely.
Right.
And while we're talking about dictionaries and thesauruses, we can't forget about Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary.
Oh, of course, a staple in American homes and classrooms.
It is.
It has sold over 55 million copies.
Wow.
Since its first publication in 1898.
So we've got dictionaries, we've got thesauruses, we've got almanacs.
Are there any other kind of unexpected bestsellers in this category?
Well, how about a math textbook?
A math textbook.
The Art of Mathematics, written by Ham Sing Day.
Interesting.
Has sold between 37 and 40 million copies.
Wow.
Since its first publication in 1966.
That's not something I would have predicted.
It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
But The Art of Mathematics is known for its clear explanations, engaging examples, its emphasis on problem-solving skills.
Okay.
And it's really become this go-to resource for students and educators in Korea and beyond.
So maybe it's proof that even the most challenging subjects can be engaging when presented.
Absolutely.
Clearly. Absolutely.
Okay, and for our final stop, in the realm of regularly updated bestsellers, let's talk about Better Homes and Gardens' new cookbook.
Oh, Better Homes and Gardens' new cookbook. A true kitchen staple, offering a wide range of recipes, cooking tips, meal planning advice.
My grandmother swore by that cookbook.
It's a beloved resource, and for good reason.
Yeah.
And it's sold over 38 million copies.
Wow.
Since its first publication in 1930.
It's a lot of cookbooks.
It is a lot of cookbooks.
I'm feeling inspired to go try some new recipes.
I know, me too.
Okay, but before I do that, I have one more fascinating category to explore.
All right.
Book series.
Big series.
But this time, it's not just about Harry Potter.
Okay.
We're going to dive into a whole other world of series that have captivated readers worldwide.
Sounds good.
Ready for more literary adventures.
Let's do it. From spine-tingling horror to heartwarming adventures, the World of Book series offers a treasure trove of stories waiting to be discovered. And when it comes to sheer sales figures, some of these series have truly reached phenomenal heights.
Okay, I'm ready to be swept away.
Yep.
Where are we headed first on this literary journey?
Well, let's start with a series that needs no introduction. R.L. Stine's Goosebumps. With over 400 million copies sold, it's one of the most successful children's horror series of all time.
Oh, Goosebumps. Those books bring back so many memories. I remember devouring them as a kid, both terrified and thrilled at the same time.
Stine had a knack for tapping into childhood fears in a way that was both spooky and entertaining.
Yeah.
Each book offered a unique blend of suspense, humor, And those unexpected twists, keeping young readers on the edge of their seats.
Oh, I remember hiding under the covers of the flashlight, completely engrossed in those stories. It's amazing how those books captured the imaginations of an entire generation.
They certainly did.
Yeah.
And speaking of capturing imaginations, Jeff Kinney's Diary of a Wimpy Kid has become a modern classic, selling a remarkable 290 million copies.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid is one of those series that both kids and parents can enjoy. It's funny, it's relatable, and it offers a glimpse into the often awkward and hilarious world of middle school life.
Yeah, Kinney's simple yet expressive illustrations and his ability to capture the voice of, a preteen boy have made the series a global phenomenon.
And it's not just about the humor. Diary of a Wimpy Kid also touches on themes of friendship, family dynamics, and the challenges of growing up, making it a series that resonates with readers of all ages.
Absolutely. And for a series that's been a family favorite for generations, we have to mention Stan and Jan Berenstein's Berenstain Bears, with over 260 million copies sold. These lovable bears have taught countless children important life lessons about family, friendship, and responsibility.
The Berenstain Bears hold a special place in my heart. I grew up reading those books, and I still remember their gentle humor and heartwarming messages.
The series' enduring appeal lies in its ability to address everyday challenges and relatable situations in a way that's both comforting and insightful for young readers.
And they're not just for kids. I find myself revisiting those stories from time to time, reminded of their simple yet profound wisdom.
Speaking of stories that encourage active participation, let's not forget about Choose Your Own Adventure. With over 250 million copies sold, this interactive series empowered readers to become part of the narrative-making decisions that shaped the outcome of the story.
Oh, I loved those books. It was so exciting to have agency over the characters and the plot. Do you remember your favorite Choose Your Own Adventure book?
Oh, I had several. It was always a thrill to explore different paths and discover multiple endings. And it's a testament to the series' creativity and ingenuity that it continues to appeal to readers.
Yeah.
Even in our digital age where interactive storytelling is so prevalent.
It's proof that some concepts are truly timeless. Now, for a series that takes us back to the drama and intrigue of high school, we have Sweet Valley High.
Sweet Valley High, with over 250 million copies sold, chronicled the lives, loves, and dramas of identical twins, Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield, captivating a generation of teenage readers.
Okay, I have to admit, I read a few of those books back in the day. The series had a way of tapping into those anxieties and aspirations of adolescence, even if it was a bit over the top at times.
Oh, it definitely captured the zeitgeist of the 80s and 90s. And the series' enduring popularity suggests that those themes of friendship, identity, and navigating the social complexities of high school remain relevant for teenagers today.
Okay, I'm ready for another trip down memory lane. What other mega-selling series await us?
Let's hop aboard the Railway series by Reverend W. Awdry and his son, Christopher Awdry.
Oh, the Railway series. Those are the books that inspired Thomas and Friends, right?
That's right. This beloved series, featuring anthropomorphic steam engines like Thomas the Tank Engine, has sold over 201 million copies, delighting generations of children with tales of friendship, teamwork, and adventure.
Oh, I can still hear the theme song. It's amazing how those characters have transcended the page, becoming icons of children's entertainment.
Yeah, it really speaks to the power of simple yet engaging storytelling and the enduring appeal of characters that embody positive values like kindness, helpfulness, and perseverance. And speaking of enduring appeal, Enid Blyton's Naughty series has sold over 200 million copies, enchanting young readers with its whimsical tales of Toyland.
Naughty. I remember those books, the little wooden boy with the red and yellow car. They were so charming and imaginative.
Blyton had a gift for creating worlds that sparked children's imaginations, filled with talking toys, magical adventures, and gentle life lessons about friendship, honesty, and responsibility.
And let's not forget about Nancy Drew. The intrepid teenage detective has solved countless mysteries, captivating readers for over 90 years.
Absolutely. The Nancy Drew series has sold over 200 million copies, inspiring generations of readers, particularly young girls. With its strong, independent female protagonist, Nancy Drew was a trailblazer, paving the way for other female detectives and adventurers in literature and popular culture.
She's a true icon. Now, for a series that might be less familiar to our listeners, we have San Antonio, a French series by Frédéric Dard.
Oh, San Antonio. This is a series of detective novels that have sold over 200 million copies in France, and beyond the main character, San Antonio is a quirky and humorous police commissioner who always gets his man or woman, as the case may be.
It sounds like a French version of Inspector Clouseau.
Oh, there are definitely some similarities. The series is known for its blend of humor, action, and witty dialogue, making it a popular choice for readers seeking a lighthearted yet engaging mystery.
I'm intrigued. I might have to check that one out now. For a series that needs no introduction, we have Dan Brown's Robert Langdon.
Ah, yes. The Da Vinci Code and its sequels have sold over 200 million copies worldwide, taking readers on thrilling adventures filled with historical mysteries, secret societies, and religious symbolism.
Those books are like literary treasure hunts.
They are. Brown's ability to weave together history, art, and conspiracy theories in this fast-paced and suspenseful narrative has made the Robert Langdon series a global phenomenon.
And for a series that's a bit more whimsical, we have Geronimo Stilton.
Geronimo Stilton, created by Elizabeth Adami, follows the adventures of a mouse who's a journalist and publisher. The series has sold over 180 million copies worldwide, introducing young readers to different cultures and encouraging a love of reading and exploration.
A mouse who's a journalist. That's adorable.
It is. And the series is known for its humorous and engaging storytelling, often incorporating fun facts, colorful illustrations, and interactive elements to keep young readers entertained.
It sounds like a great way to make learning fun. Okay, I'm sensing another blast from my childhood coming on. Is it Percy Jackson and the Olympians?
You're right on track. Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson the Olympian series has sold over 180 million copies, introducing a new generation to Greek mythology.
I remember loving those books. They made mythology exciting and relatable, and the characters were so well developed.
Riordan's clever blend of modern-day settings and ancient myths made the series both engaging and educational, sparking an interest in classical literature for many young readers.
It's amazing how those books brought mythology to life. Now, before we delve into even more best-selling series, I have a question for you. What do you think is the key to creating a successful book series? Why are readers so drawn to these multi-book sagas?
That's a great question. I think there are several factors at play. First, series offer a sense of familiarity, and comfort readers get to revisit beloved characters and worlds, which can be incredibly satisfying.
It's like catching up with old friends.
Exactly. And that familiarity can be especially appealing in today's fast-paced world, where things are constantly changing. Second, series allow authors to develop characters and storylines in more depth. We get to see them grow, change, and face new challenges over time, creating a sense of investment and emotional connection.
It's like watching those characters evolve right before our eyes.
Precisely. And third, series often tap into those universal themes and experiences that resonate with readers of all ages, whether it's friendship, family, adventure, or the struggle between good and evil. These themes provide a common ground for connection and engagement, and when those themes are explored through multiple books, it creates a richer and more immersive reading experience.
Okay, I'm ready for more series. What else we got?
Well, let's explore a series that helped redefine the young adult genre, The Babysitter's Club.
Oh, The Babysitter's Club. Those books were so much fun.
Anne Martin's series, which follows a group of friends who run their own babysitting business, has sold over 172 million copies, inspiring countless young readers to embrace entrepreneurship, friendship, and community involvement.
Those books were like a guide to starting your own business.
They were, and they empowered young readers, particularly girls, to be independent, resourceful, and responsible. And for a series that sparked a cultural phenomenon, we have to mention Stephen E. Meyer's Twilight.
Twilight. I remember when those books were everywhere.
The Twilight saga, which follows the forbidden love between a human girl and a vampire, has sold over 160 million copies, captivating readers with its blend of romance, fantasy, and supernatural elements.
It definitely ignited a lot of passionate discussions, Team Edward or Team Jacob.
It was a question that divided readers, and the series' success speaks to our enduring fascination with forbidden love, supernatural beings, and stories that explore the complexities of identity and belonging.
And for a series that needs no introduction, we have Star Wars.
The Star Wars Expanded Universe, with contributions from numerous authors, has sold over 160 million copies, taking readers beyond the movies and delving deeper into that galaxy far, far away.
It's incredible how the Star Wars universe has continued to grow and evolve, captivating fans for decades.
It's a testament to the power of imaginative world building and the enduring appeal of stories that explore themes of good versus evil, heroism and adventure. And for a series that's captured the hearts of young readers with its simple yet endearing stories, we have Mercer Mayer's Little Critter.
Ah, Little Critter. Those books were so sweet and relatable. I remember loving the illustrations.
Mayer's colorful and expressive illustrations really brought those stories to life, making them a favorite for young children. The series has sold over 150 million copies, reflecting its enduring appeal and its ability to capture the essence of childhood experiences.
Okay, we've got time for one more series before we wrap up this part of our deep dive. What's next?
Let's take a trip back in time to the English countryside with Beatrix Potter's Peter Rabbit series.
Peter Rabbit. Those are true classics.
Potter's charming stories and exquisite illustrations have enchanted generations of readers. The series has sold over 150 million copies, proving that those tales of animal adventures remain timeless and beloved.
It's amazing how those books have captured the hearts of readers for over a century.
It's a testament to the power of simple, yet beautifully crafted stories, imaginative characters, and the enduring appeal of the natural world now. As we move into the final stretch of our best-selling series, Exploration, we enter a realm where fantasy reigns supreme, and readers are transported to worlds both magical and thought-provoking.
I'm ready to be transported. Where are we headed first?
Let's start with a series that has redefined the fantasy genre and sparked countless debates about the nature of power, destiny, and choice. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin.
Ah, yes, Game of Thrones. That series has become a global phenomenon.
Indeed. A Song of Ice and Fire has sold over 90 million copies, captivating readers with its complex characters, intricate plot lines, and gritty realism.
The world that Martin created is so rich and detailed, and the characters are so well developed. I can see why it's resonated with so many readers.
And the series doesn't shy away from difficult themes, exploring the complexities of war, politics, and the human condition.
It's definitely not your typical lighthearted fantasy series.
It's not. And for another epic fantasy series that takes readers on an immersive journey, we have The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, completed by Brandon Sanderson after Jordan's passing.
The Wheel of Time is a series I've been meaning to check out. I've heard it's incredibly detailed and immersive.
It is. The series spans 14 books and a prequel, and it has sold over 90 million copies. The Wheel of Time explores themes of destiny, free will, and the cyclical nature of time, drawing readers into a world where magic is real and the fate of the world hangs in the balance.
It sounds epic.
It is. And for a fantasy series that takes a more humorous and satirical approach, we have Discworld by Terry Pratchett.
Discworld. I've heard of that one. What's it all about?
Well, it's a comedic fantasy series set on a flat disc world, balanced on the backs of 4 elephants, which in turn stand on the back of a giant turtle. It's a wonderfully absurd concept.
It certainly is. It sounds like my kind of humor.
Pratchett's Discworld series is full of quirky characters, witty observations, and sharp social commentary, all wrapped up in this fantastical setting. It has sold over 90 million copies, proving that fantasy can be both entertaining and thought-provoking.
I'm adding that one to my reading list. Okay, I think we have time for one more series before we wrap up this deep dive. What have you got for us?
Well, let's step into a world of simplicity, innocence, and gentle adventures with Miffy by Dick Bruna.
Miffy, the adorable little bunny with the minimalist design.
That's the one. The Miffy series has sold over 85 million copies, capturing the hearts of young children around the world with its iconic illustrations and simple, heartwarming stories.
I remember those books. They're so visually appealing and perfect for young children just starting to explore the world of reading.
Bruna's minimalist style and gentle storytelling have made Miffy a timeless classic, proving that sometimes the simplest stories are the most powerful. And with that, we conclude our journey through the fascinating world of best-selling book series.
Wow, what an incredible adventure. From spooky goosebumps to whimsical rabbits, these series have captivated the imaginations of readers worldwide. We've seen how these books reflect our shared human experiences, our hopes, our fears, and our dreams. They connect us across cultures and generations, reminding us of the power of storytelling to inspire, educate, and entertain.
It's been a true pleasure exploring this literary landscape with you, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to discover new stories and rediscover old favorites.
There's a whole universe of words waiting to be explored, so go forth and dive into a good book.